Hello, Dr. Barbara Russell here, Superintendent of the school district, along with Mr. Ryan Marsh, our Blue House principal at our high school. We have another video where we'd like to really focus on the risks associated with vaping. And this follows two previous videos, the first of which introduced you to some just general information about vaping, and the most recent introduced you to some of the actual vape devices that Mr. Marsh and other administrators at the high school are confiscating from our students. So today we want to focus on the actual risks associated with our students vaping. And if you recall from the last video, vapes contain nicotine, or they have a cart, and that can contain illegal substances. So today we'll talk about one of those illegal substances and the impact it can have on students. That would be THC, marijuana. We'll talk about some of what happens when our students vape with either of these substances. So let's start with nicotine. So Mr. Marsh, share with us what happens when students vape, and there's nicotine in the vape.
Okay, so first, Dr. Russell, it's important to note that the nicotine vapes have a concentration in them that is at a high level. Most nicotine vapes have the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. So at the outset, students' bodies and their development are not equipped to take on that load of nicotine. So when students do that, we do see lightheadedness by students. We see students getting sick and vomiting. We see students with shortness of breath, and we've actually had students get very dizzy and lightheaded, almost lose consciousness. So that is what we're seeing at the high school when students are using nicotine vapes. Not in all cases, but in many cases.
Thank you for that. So nicotine is one thing, and that makes us uncomfortable enough, let alone as we move to then some illegal substances that are also in vapes. And you had talked a little bit about THC in carts. So tell us about what happens when students vape and there's THC in the vape.
So in THC cartridges, and to be clear, Dr. Russell shared earlier, these are the ones that are not laced with anything. We'll talk about those in the next video. So at the level of a THC cartridge that students have purchased, we have a lot of the same symptoms that I described to you with nicotine. We also have an impact on the brain development for students in their adolescent years, but we've seen more so a loss of consciousness in those students. And in one instance, with simply a THC cartridge, we had to have an ambulance called, for a student who was non-responsive in one of our bathrooms and displayed all the other symptoms that I described to you related to nicotine.
So the responses on the part of our students, which technically can be referred to as overdoses, whether it's nicotine or THC, these responses have prompted us to really want to more effectively inform you, our parents, our viewers, about the seriousness of vaping and how we can partner, how we can work together to stop it, to eliminate it among our students. In addition to some of the information that we've shared today, there are some resources that we've linked to this week's newsletter, and we hope that you'll find additional information that would be helpful to you as you hopefully in turn guide your students. But look forward to another video next week or the week after. We want to keep them going and continue to inform you. So thank you for viewing.